I pulled into the driveway that evening, exhausted from a long, frustrating day at work. My only plan was to unwind, maybe grab a beer, watch some TV, and let the stress melt away. But as soon as I stepped out of my car, I knew something was off. The deep thump of bass vibrated through the walls of my house, and flashes of colored lights flickered through the closed curtains. Laughter and voices carried out into the cool night air. My stomach tightened. My wife hadn't mentioned anything about a party. I walked up to the front door, already dreading what I would find inside. As I reached for the handle, I was met with resistance. Locked. That was strange. She never locked the door when she was home, especially not during a gathering. I knocked firmly, expecting her to answer right away. No response. The music was loud, but not enough that she wouldn't hear me. I rang the doorbell, then knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing. Pulling out my phone, I sent a text. "Hey, I'm home. Can you let me in?" The message showed as read almost instantly, but she didn't reply. For a few moments, I just stood there, staring at the door in disbelief. The music continued to play, the chatter and laughter rising and falling behind the walls of my own house, one I suddenly felt like a stranger to. I knocked again, harder than before. Finally, the door swung open, but the person standing there wasn't my wife. It was one of her friends, a woman I barely knew. She had a drink in her hand and looked surprised to see me. Behind her, I could see a group of women gathered around the living room, drinks in hand, laughing and chatting like they didn't have a care in the world. "Oh, hey," she said awkwardly, giving me a tight smile. We're kind of in the middle of something." I frowned. "Yeah, I can see that. Can you get my wife?" She hesitated for a moment before turning her head and calling over her shoulder, "Hey, he's here." A few seconds later, my wife appeared in the doorway, a cocktail in one hand, her face slightly flushed. She was wearing a short dress, her hair done up like she was at a club, not at home. "Oh my God, babe," she said with a laugh. "I totally forgot to tell you. We're having a little girls' night." I stared at her, waiting for her to realize how ridiculous this was. "Okay," I said slowly. "Let me in." She bit her lip, suddenly looking guilty, but not guilty enough. "The thing is, it's kind of a girls-only thing." I blinked. "Are you serious?" She reached out and touched my arm, as if that would soften the blow. "It's just for a little while. You don't mind, right? Go to a bar or something, have a guy's night. I'll make it up to you." I felt my jaw tighten. I could feel the stares of her friends behind her, watching the scene unfold. It wasn't just about the party anymore. It was about respect, about how she thought she could shut me out of my own home, like I was an unwanted guest. I took a deep breath and stepped back. "All right," I said calmly. "Enjoy your party." Then I turned around and walked back to my car, but I wasn't going to a bar. I had something better in mind. I drove down the street and parked around the corner, out of sight from the house. Pulling out my phone, I opened the Smart Home app, the one I had set up when we first moved in. My wife had never bothered to learn how to use it. She always said technology wasn't her thing. With a few taps, I hastened disconnected the Wi-Fi still. The music streaming, gone. Their group chat, useless. No Netflix, no Spotify, no YouTube, just silence. Next, I went to the whole smart thermostat, and Miles dropped the temperature down to 50 degrees. Within minutes, the house would feel like a freezer. I could already picture them shivering in their thin dresses. Then, for the final touch, I went to the smart locks. With a single command, I locked every door and window in the house, and then I waited. It didn't take long. 15 minutes later, my phone lit up with notifications. My wife's name flashed on the screen. I let it ring. Then came the messages. "What did you do?" "The Wi-Fi is down." "It's freezing in here. The doors won't open." I smiled. After a few minutes, I finally picked up the call. "Hey, babe," I said casually. "What the hell did you do?" she shrieked. The doors won't open, the heater's off, and we can't even play music." "Oh, that sucks," I said, feigning sympathy. "Sounds like you're, locked out of your own home. Weird how that feels, huh?" She was silent for a moment, and then she sighed, the realization sinking in. "Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. Can you please let us out?" I let the silence stretch for a few extra seconds, just to make sure she really understood. Then, with another tap on my phone, I unlocked the doors. The next morning, she didn't mention the party, but she did. Make me breakfast for the first time in months. She never brought up what happened, and I didn't either. But the best part? The next time I came home from work, the door was wide open, waiting for me.